Hi, my name is Eric Brockmeyer and I'm the president of the Honest Water Filter Company. And before we get started, I want to give you a little bit of my background so that you feel comfortable listening to me on this instructional video on the installation of the 20-inch or 40-inch diamond system. I've been a plumbing contractor for over 35 years and have been in water treatment for over 30. So I have installed thousands of these myself, and I'm looking forward to helping you get your install done today. So let's get started. You'll receive your packages. It'll be two boxes, one of one and then two, or one of two and two of two. So you'll have two boxes. The 40 and the 20 are exactly the same when it comes to the installation process. We want you to be aware of that. There's no difference between them. They function the same way. The only difference is going to be on these systems is one is a 500,000 gallon and one is 1,000,000 gallons. Both will have the P231 attached to it on NSF rating. So they're all going to function the same. And I want to let you know whether you're doing the 40 or the 20, this instructional video works for both. So let's get started. You're going to receive your two packages, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open it up and you're going to inventory it. So let's get to the inventory so you can see and make sure all the pieces are spread out so you know exactly which pieces are going to go on the wall first and how it's going to get installed. Okay, now that you've unpacked your system, the first thing you want to do is inventory. Like I said, we've unloaded the box and it's here on this table. We highly recommend you do this in the back of your van or try to find a little table you take with you or put it on the ground, but we definitely want you to take everything out of the box. And the first thing you're going to do is make sure you absolutely have everything ready to go. The first thing you're going to make sure is you have the pressure vessel. This helps you with the backwash system. I've taken it out of the box and this is what it looks like. It's a simple 3/4 screw. It will go in the absolute top of this system. Right here it'll have a metal band on it, so you'll be able to screw it in without screwing it up. It comes pre-taped. If it doesn't, put 2 or 3 rolls on it. The second thing you're going to need to do is make sure you have the controller. The controller is very simple to install. It has Velcro on the back. You just find a place on the wall near the system so that we can program it. The third thing you're going to need is the power cord. Now in this power cord, we're going to go ahead and open the box, is the power cord itself. But as you can see, it doesn't have a plug on it. That's because we sell this product internationally. So we provide you with all the international applications. You're going to have to pull it out of the box, find the 110 adapter, which is right here. And all these other adapters you can just toss in the trash. It's very simple to install. You simply pick it up. And it is a slide on it. As you look at it, it's a little clips on the end here. You just simply put it on. And away you go, and that's it. Now you have a 110 cord. The second thing is the system comes either 3/4 or 1 inch. We put both adapters in it, as you can see here. This T here is for this over here, this gauge. You'll just unscrew it off the 3/4. If you ordered it 1 inch, it'll normally come 3/4, you'll have to add the 1 inch to it. I gave you both fittings so you can do it simply. The next thing is the manifold. This manifold is for the silver cartridges for our post. They're very simple. We'll go over that in detail here in a minute. Make sure you have that. You're going to need 4 extra clips because we're going to add this serial port, which makes it usable. This is a very important part. It has flow written on it. We've etched it in laser. So depending on left to right or right to left, you would just rotate it. And when you rotate it, you will have to take this clip out and rotate it as well. Very, very simple to do. But make sure you have your serial port. Inspect your serial port. Make sure there are O-rings on all of the parts that insert into the manifold. That goes for the same for all fittings that are loose. Next thing is you'll have your system itself already pre-made. One thing that's really important is we want to make sure these nuts are tight when they come out of the box. Sometimes they're loose. We want you to be able to do it, so you'll need some basic tools. This is actually a 13mm bolt and nut. So if you have metric on your truck, great. If you don't, crescent wrenches work really well to make sure they're tight. Next thing you're going to have is your 2 post cartridges, which are your silvers, 4925 PHC in this application. Now remind you, they come XHC, so the applications will be the same on the development of the product when we install it. So that's basically it on our inventory. These are the basic tools you will need to install, along with some plumbing tools, which I didn't include because my assumption is you're a plumber. Now, on this system, you want to make sure you have a 3-way ball valve bypass installed. That is absolutely important. We're going to go over some other tips and secrets. Once I have it on the wall and it's installed, raw, we'll go over some secrets and tips for you on how to get it done faster. Expect to be installing this for anywhere from 3 to 4.5 hours. I highly recommend as well that you have your truck stock box with you, because anything that can go wrong on this system, at least if it should happen from manufacturing, gets out of our quality control. If you have your truck stock box, absolutely pull parts out of there. If we have any defects, we want you to make sure you get this install done perfectly. So that's basically it on our inventory. Make sure you throw away your box correctly. Make sure you have your basic tools that you need. We actually included a stud finder. You will need that for a certain application that I'm going to go over once I've got it hung on the wall. So anyway, that's it. That's the inventory. Let's move on to the installation. Okay, now that you've inventoried, and before you install it on the wall, and I'm sure you've already found a location for where you're going to put it, we want to make sure that you put this together correctly to mount it on the wall. First and most important thing is the serial port. It's etched with the flow. Now remember, in our product, in is always on the bottom of the unit on the top. So it's the bottom port. Because it's the bottom port, the outlet's going to always be the top. So for this case, because this is a serial port, it means this is in series and this is in parallel, we want the flow to come out of the top of the unit and be redirected into the parallel of the two heads. So really simple. Your flow is going to be on top here. We're just going to push this in. You're going to take your manifold and you're going to push it in as well, very tight. You're going to take these 4 clips and you're going to install them. And they should just push down very easily. If they don't push down easily, you don't have it pushed together correctly. So make sure you just push it together correctly. Now this one on the back side here might be a little bit difficult, but start on the bottom, kind of come around the nut like this and get it installed. Like I said, it can be a challenge, but it will go in. Okay, it's installed. Now that you can see I've installed it, got my 9-inch level up there to make sure I'm accurate. In this application, what I did was I had a drywall in my garage, but I didn't want to actually put it right into the drywall, so I got some siding. This is 5.5-inch siding by 20 feet long. I just cut some planks to make sure I can put it in. But what I did do is I had to find the studs with my stud finder here so that I could put screws in over there to secure it. This way I can field screw this anywhere I want along this board, which makes it more sturdy for its application. This product can only be installed in the vertical position. The other thing you want to do before you start plumbing is you're going to need to put Teflon tape on the fittings on the inlet and outlet. And on this product, remember, the bottom over here is the inlet and the outlet is up here on top. Neither one of them have Teflon tape on them, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the clip here on both sides and remove the fitting. And with this fitting, I'm going to Teflon tape that and put my FIP on there, my female adapter, and inspect my O-rings to make sure they're good to go. Put that Teflon tape on. I'm not going to do it in this application, but no, do that off, screw it on. It shouldn't bury, it should stop a few threads short. And then once you have that fitting on, if you're soldering, go ahead and put a little piece of pipe on the solder piece, the FIP. You're going to solder that up away from this fitting so you don't melt it. Cool it, then screw it on with your Teflon tape. If you're pro pressing, no problem. Put your female adapter on or your PEX press. It doesn't matter. You don't need to worry about that. You can go ahead and screw your female adapter on first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, in this application, I wanted you to know we used backing, but let's say you didn't have backing and you wanted to use just drywall anchors. I highly recommend these screw-in drywall anchors. The way you'll have to do it is put the unit up on the area you want to use and then mark each hole, because you have to put a screw in every hole of the whole manifold to hold its weight, and plenty of these anchors will do just fine. The other one, some of you work in basements where it's concrete, same application with Tapcons. You want to do the same, that's the blue screw that screws into concrete. Every hole must have a Tapcon. Please do not shortcut it. If you do, you void warranty. We certainly don't want you to do that. So make sure that you have it secured perfectly. We're going to move now into the actual plumbing part of it, which I'm just going to narrate because I'm not going to show you plumbing. because I know you're a plumber and I would never want to insult you. Just got to remember, know where your source is. You're going to come in on this side, you're going to come out on that side. You're going to come from ever your source is. You make sure you put a ball valve here, a ball valve over on this side, and one with a T in the middle to make your three-way ball valve bypass. Let's say that 100 times. But get that all installed. Once that's all your plumbing's installed, we're going to pick up, assuming that you've installed all the plumbing. Do not turn the water on until I tell you to in this instruction video, because there is a process to turning it on. So let's get started with completing the actual buildup of the system now that your plumbing is in. Okay, now it's time to install your pressure vessel. It's very simple. You simply put it on top, and for you journeymen who have your apprentice do it, make sure they don't cross thread it. It is hard to do, but just double check them. You're going to screw it on by hand, no wrenches needed, till it's tight, and you keep rotating it, only hand tight, because it's going to get pretty tight, and there you go. Once that's hand tight and done, use some good force on it. You should have about 3 or 4 threads left. Do not let your apprentice bury that. I've had a couple of them do it over the years, and even with this metal support band, you can crack it. So please do not use your wrench on that. It is not necessary. Now, in this instructional video, I'm assuming that your plumbing is all done. The next step we're going to do is install the cartridges. So let me go get those, and we'll come back and I'll show you how to install those cartridges. All right, the next step is to install your carbon cartridges. This one here is a Silver Plus, which means it's a 4925 PHC, which the P stands for polyphosphates, for our hard water solutions. Now, these are very simple. There's a QR code on here. You can use your camera if you have internet and get our owner's manual, and you can also let your consumer know that as well. All they do is take a picture of that, and there's an owner's manual attached to this part of the setup. You will also be provided with a QR code for the diamond system, which is on our website for all of you that may need the owner's manual. First thing you do is you're going to take off this cap, make sure all 4 O-rings are in. In this case, they are. You're simply going to go and insert it, and you want to make sure you rotate it at 90 degrees on the label to the unit. You should simply be able to turn it very softly. If you have to use aggressiveness like hard muscles, turn it. You're probably doing it wrong. Stop what you're doing. Take it back out and make sure, watch, it's a quarter turn, so it just drops out. When you put it back up, you kind of got to have it level, left and front and right. If it's not level, it won't push up into that groove, and then it will rotate. This is considered a ball valve. This is a barrel valve, which just has a ball valve that rotates and turns it on when you go to insert it. You're going to need 2, so we have 2 here ready to go. I've already taken the white cap off of this one. We're going to also put it in. And if you have trouble, if you see, you just got to push up a little bit on the bottom, and again, softly rotate. The assumption in this instruction video is that you've already done all the plumbing, with the exception of the drain, which we're going to go over next. Because now the system is completely installed. You actually have everything going on. You don't need to plug the power in. I will tell you when to plug the power in. Do not do that until you're told in this video. What you're also going to need to do your startup is you're going to need a garden hose. So make sure you have a 50-footer on your truck at least so you can get to a drain. We use this to actually flush out the membrane on the unit, because inside here is an FDA grade surfactant that keeps this unit moist during transportation and storage. We want to get that out of there before we send it through the system so we don't coat this. Not that it's bad for it or bad for humans. You just want to make sure that we clean it out first. So we're going to go over that next. Okay, now that you've already got the system installed and it looks absolutely wonderful, and you've done your 3-way ball valve bypass correctly, it's time to drain the system and clean it before we engage it into the home. We have a couple of more steps to go, and you'll be absolutely completed. The next step is hooking a garden hose to this fitting. It is actually designed for a garden hose. What you want to do is hook that garden hose up, run it to your drain. I want you to open the blue ball valve. There's no water on it at the moment, so make sure there's no water on. Now what you're going to do is you're going to open your inlet ball valve, because you should be in bypass, so the home has water once you had done that to check for leaks. My assumption was that you did all of that. Now we're ready to energize. When you turn on the ball valve to the unit to supply water, You want to do it slow, not super slow, but slow. You're going to open it up. You're going to let the water come through. It's going to come right out of here. It may fill these. That's okay. You're going to absolutely turn this on. And once that ball valve that you have on your bypass is open full, you're going to let that run for a solid 3 to 5 minutes. Go ahead and time that. And you can run it to a grass, a bush, or a drain. It's entirely up to you. When that's completed, we're going to go to the next step. Let's assume you've done that now. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the ball valve off to the unit. So we have no supply there. Let it drain for a minute. And now we're going to close that ball valve, disconnect your hose. You can leave it there, or you can put a cap in there, a plug, so the consumer doesn't open it up and get the garage wet, the basement, the outside, whatever. It's highly recommended that you unscrew that and put a plug in there if you can, of some kind. It is 3/4. So now that that's all done, everything's off now. The next step we're going to do is we're going to put the controller on and the power into the controller. So let's go ahead and move to that, because that's the next step before we energize the system fully. Okay, now it's time to install the actual drain. That's on this solenoid right here. You're going to have to run that either to atmosphere or to the outside, like any other backwashing carbon system. But you need to insert it's 3/4, so you're going to 3/4 MIP. It can be PVC, CPVC, PEX, copper, galvanized, really anything you want to use for drainage. Clear hose, it does not matter, but most people either use PEX or PVC, so you can keep it very symmetrical and 90 degrees. You're going to need to know where your drain is, so make sure you've identified that prior to the installation, and you're going to go ahead and do that. What I like to do is put an MIP in there and shoot the 90 straight down. I have already obviously set this up for my controller to go right here next to that, but you can put this controller anywhere in the length of this unit. It can be up on a wall here, it can be over here, it can be down here, it can be anywhere, and you'll see that in the next segment here when we get done. But go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and run your PVC drain to wherever you need to run it. When you're done with that, the next step is energizing the system, programming the unit, and plugging it in. So not necessarily in all those orders, but you get the gist of it. You actually we're going to find where the power is. As you can see here, I had an outlet close by, so that's where I did it. If you don't have an outlet close by, feel free to run an extension cord until you get an electrician out there, or if you're going to use the extension cord permanently, that's fine too. Just make sure you run that really nice and secure it to the wall. So that's what we're going to do next. We'll get back to you as soon as you get that drain run. Come back to me and I'll explain to you how to hook up the controller and then the power. Okay, here we are. We have the controller and we have the power source. This controller is kind of unique. It allows you to have 2 diamonds on it and 2 power sources. So if you look on the back right here, it tells you how to control and how to install this controller. Your manual will tell you how to program it, but I'm going to give you a video on that to make it easier. So it says V1 here, and then I apologize guys, old guy, got to get my glasses squared away. V2, V1 flow, that's if you had a flow meter, P2, right, and P1, and then power. We're going to install the power in the power slot, and it is only a 2-prong process because it only fits in 1 slot. We've developed this so that you only have to put it in 1 slot. So the power is here. There's a little clip. You're going to turn it and make it so it's forward, and it's going to click in. Once that clicks in, you're not plugging this in as of yet. You've already installed everything. The plumbing is already in. You still have to install your actuator or your solenoid valve. That's simple. It's going to go into, on this side, guys, it says V1, Victor 1, because this is our first one. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it in V1, which is 2 over, and it is a triple. It just simply goes in. Now obviously I put my Velcro down here so I can put it on the wall. Okay, now that I found a location, I'm going to go ahead and take it off because I just want to hold it in my hand until I've actually programmed the unit. So let's go ahead and plug it in. Now, when you plug the unit in, it's going to automatically turn on and backwash. You'll see it's counting down. We had it set at F10. That's the factory setting. We're going to reprogram this thing. Now, The reason I'm telling you that is because once you plug the power in, it has a factory default of 59 minutes. That means it's going to backwash every 59 minutes. So we're going to have to reprogram it. But know that I need the drain all done and tied in because it's going to absolutely turn on right when you do it. Now, if you haven't opened up your ball valve, you're safe. The assumption is you've got the ball valve already turned on and in service. The unit is pressurized. You have not opened the outlet to the house yet. Okay, so you have a pressurized system and you've already cleared it. What we're going to do before we program is I just want you to hit this FL button. It's called flush. And when you do that, you'll hear a click and it's going to say F10 and it's just going to count down for 10 seconds while it drains it for 10 seconds. Once that stops, it's going to go back to hour 1. 1 hour, it's going to backwash. But we want this on municipally treated water to be once every 24 hours. It's a very simple process. You press and hold the up and down arrow together. It's going to flash and it says D10. Now I want to take that down because we only need 5. So we're going to keep going until we get down to 5 seconds. And then we're at 5 seconds. It's going to flash again and it's going to go, how long do you want? Well, we want 12 hours. So you can press the up button until you see 24, excuse me. Once you've seen 24, you stop. It's going to rapid flash, boom, 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 real quick. And boom, it's going to go into a flush for 5 seconds. It's going to drain for 5 seconds. And once that's done, you're done. You simply put the unit back over here on the wall where it was. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. It's going to go on the wall here or wherever you actually want it to go. You can put it. My Velcro is not sticking very well, but that's because I've been using this unit quite a bit. So know that your Velcro coming out of the unit is on the back. There'll be a tape here. You're going to take this excess tape off that'll be on there, and then you're just going to apply it to wherever you need to do it. Anyway, that's it for the install. I really appreciate you taking the time. If you have any questions whatsoever, there is an SOS button on your app. You can press it, text me. I'll get the message and I'll call you back. Be sure you leave your cell phone number. If you want to call me direct, call me at 858-248-1557 and I'll be happy to help you. If I don't answer, please leave a short message of who you are and where you are and I'll get back to you. Or again, SOS button and text me the information so I have it. Anyway, that's your install video for today. If you have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. This is Eric Brockmeyer signing out. I wish you all good luck.